News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
A Hamilton man has been charged with attempted deliberate homicide. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Monday, May 11th, 2015. Hope you had a wonderful and relaxing Mother's Day. It's a beautiful sunrise out there this morning. Right now we have a partly cloudy sky, 37 degrees in Missoula. Our newscast, sponsored by Dig It Excavating, bringing 30 years of excavation excellence to your job. The number to call, 214-4292. Our top story this morning. One man has been hospitalized, another arrested after a weekend shooting on South 2nd Street in Hamilton. Police Chief Ryan Oster told KGVO News the call came into 911 about 3 o'clock Saturday morning. Police officers and sheriff's deputies responded.
When they arrived on scene there, they detained a male individual who was walking in the area, and about that time a 911 call came in regards to a 29-year-old male who was in an apartment upstairs with an apparent gunshot wound.
Oster has more on the man who was taken into custody.
After looking into that, 59-year-old Monty Hansen from Hamilton was arrested and is being held in the River Valley County Detention Center on a attempted deliberate homicide charge.
Oster says the 29-year-old gunshot victim was transported to Marcus Daly Memorial Hospital to be treated for a gunshot wound. His condition is unknown. Hansen will appear in River Valley County Justice Court later today. The ABC Fox Montana News team is still reeling from the untimely death of news director Kaylee Scolati. She and a close family friend, T.J. Dupras, were shot and killed last Wednesday night by Kaylee's husband, Nick. Nick then turned the gun on himself. Details provided from Brenda Bassett with the Missoula County Sheriff's Office for the county coroner.
The Missoula County coroner did confirm that the male who was transported to a local hospital after Wednesday evening shooting died this morning. 36-year-old Nicholas Scolati was pronounced dead around 4:11 a.m. He also confirmed that Scolati died of his injuries he sustained from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Now, the ABC Montana website has released the following statement regarding the relationship between those involved, and I quote, Nick and Kaylee were married in 1999. They had 3 children together. In recent months, Kaylee had told Nick she no longer wanted to be married. Nick moved out of the house, but they continued to share their parenting responsibilities. They were in the midst of working out a joint dissolution. The investigation into the incident is ongoing by the Missoula Police Department. A fund has been established at First Security Bank to help provide for the Scolati's 3 daughters. To donate, please reference donations under the name Kaylee Jacobson Scolati. A single-vehicle rollover on I-90 in Granite County over the weekend has claimed the life of a 20-year-old female and injured a 20-year-old man. The Highway Patrol says both are from Bozeman. The accident occurred about 4:40 Friday afternoon. The patrol said the vehicle was traveling westbound when it began to veer off the roadway, went into the median. The male driver tried to bring the vehicle back on the road. It tipped and rolled. Vandals have disrupted work to repair Clark Fork riverbanks in Missoula that had been damaged by flooding in recent years. Missoula Parks and Recreation crews perform restoration planting every year along the riparian areas under its management. This year, crews put in a record 2,500 plants in its conservation areas. However, a day after plants were placed in one area, crews found that many had been pulled out of the ground. In addition, markings around the plants had been destroyed. After discovering the vandalism, Parks and Rec replanted the vegetation. Economists from the University of Montana Bureau of Business and Economic Research have been attempting to assess the total cost of litigation on a Forest Service project in the Spotted Bear River Basin. Forest Industry Research Director Todd Morgan, who will be our guest on Talkback today, by the way, says the direct cost to government agencies were just under $100,000, but the cost to the local economy, that was much higher.
Potential community impact was a little over $10 million and 130 jobs. That's the direct impact as well as the indirect and induced. What I did learn from talking with the Forest Service folks that were involved with the project that this project from a litigation and land management complexity standpoint was very simple.
Despite being a relatively simple project, the Spotted Bear River project was held up for years by lawsuits by groups like Friends of the Wild Swan and the Swan View Coalition.
Legal action began in February of 2012, and it ran from February 2012 until it finally came out of litigation in February of 2015. That's almost 3 years. It was just over, it was over 1,000 days that it spent in litigation. Not every project goes that long in litigation, and some go longer.
According to the Bureau of Business and Economic Research, between 40 and 50% of all planned timber harvest volume in the northern region ends up in litigation. A Helena teenager has pleaded guilty to stealing a donation box and silver bowl from the Cathedral of St. Helena in January. District Judge James Reynolds set a sentencing date of July 23rd for Nicolene and George. The 19-year-old George could face up to 10 years in prison and $50,000 in fines after pleading guilty to felony theft. George and a co-defendant, Gary Stephen Bristol, were accused of stealing $4,100 worth of property from the cathedral. The Independent Record reports that the 18-year-old Bristol of East Helena has pleaded not guilty to both felony and misdemeanor desecration of a place of worship. She remains in the county jail. Missoula College has named a dean of students. University of Montana provost and vice president for academic affairs, Perry Brown, says Shannon O'Brien, who is currently serving as the governor's education policy advisor, is the new dean of students at Missoula College.
Of course, in her role of advisor to the governor, she has been involved in all the educational things that have been going on in Montana, at least for the last couple of years. In addition to that, she does have a doctorate in educational leadership and is bringing some knowledge and a set of skills from different experiences that she's had in her working life that I think are really going to be very helpful to us.
O'Brien says she's ready for this new role and is poised to take a leap in enrollment, resource development, and statewide leadership, end quote. Archaeologists have been using a drone and prescribed fire to help unearth previously unknown information about a one-of-a-kind Native American archaeological site in northeastern Montana. Among the new findings at the Henry Smith Prehistoric Site are rock alignments that probably had religious meaning to Native Americans. Bureau of Land Management archaeologist Josh Chase told the Great Falls Tribune that the new findings will help the agency better study and manage that unique location. And Montana government officials are cracking down on police seizures of personal belongings. A new statute will prohibit law enforcement from claiming any personal property before the owner is convicted of a crime. Montana is the fourth state now to reform a system of asset forfeiture first enacted in the 1980s to crack down on illegal drugs, according to the Institute for Justice's legal counsel. Our News Talk time now is 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Partly cloudy skies today with our highs right around the 70-degree mark. Isolated showers are possible this afternoon. Mostly cloudy with our lows in the upper 30s this evening. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for Missoula's KECI 13.